Hello everyone, my name is Ujwal and in this video I will be explaining about the React use effect with the three possibilities that we use with the no dependency, how it behaves when you use use effect with no dependency and with empty array dependency, and we give any counter dependency or any state dependency. So we will know about by taking an example of the counter. So let's start, move to the our VS code. Here I have created an React application where we will be explaining, I will be explaining the use effect here. So let's first create an component called counter dot jxx, where we will create this component, and here we will create an component called as counter. That will be our functional component, and here we will create an state where we will manage our that is count, and the method to update the state, that is the set count. And sorry, and here we will use the use state, that is the state, and we will give an default value as 0 for our counter. So now we will be writing a JX code which will be display on the UI. That will be, let's take and u and h1, where we will display the count value, and that will be come from the state, that is the count. So let's export this to our, let's export default and the counter. So now let's check if this value is display on our application. So we will come here, and in the app.jx we will call the counter component. Here you can see this is our component which is display. Maybe we have to give wrap into it in a div. So we will be doing like this. Yes. So let's format the document. So let's see our app. So here you can see this is the h1 tag, and this is our component, and its value is 0 now. So let's go to the here. Now we will see the use of use effect, how we can use the component lifecycle to manage our state. So let's go with the use effect, and that is first we will learn about without any dependency, no dependency. So let's first give a message here that we have uh, called the use effect. Use effect is called, we will display as this effect will be called. Then we will take an timer that will be set. Oh, I make okay. Set timeout here, and we will make our, let's call here our the set count, and we will update the count as count plus 1, and this will be done after 1 second. So we will give the timer as 1 second. So now we have to return also to clear the timeout when the component will unmount. We have to close the clear interval, so sorry, clear timeout. So we'll call the clear timeout, and we will pass the timer we will pass our the timer id, that is where we created here. And now let's take also console a message that we have uh, cleared the timeout. And so you can see this use effect is without any dependency, with no dependency. So means this use effect will be called every time when the app renders, sorry, every time when the component renders, as well as if there are any state or a props which are changes, then this use effect calls every time again and again. And you can see, let's see refresh first. So the timer is start from 0, and every time it will create a new timer and it will clear the timer. But this timer will be on this use effect without dependency will be called every time the component will renders. And this may leads to the, that is why it may lead to the infinite loop, because we are not giving any dependency or any state that it should be updated after that. Because if any state updated, the component will be render and our timer will also be increment. So this is not the good for our the timer or the counter we are trying to implement. So this is for the uh, no dependency. But if we give an empty array dependency, that means this function will call only once after the component is mount. Means this use effect will be runs after the component is mount, and we don't have added any dependencies to it. So it will not updates on any state changes. Because uh, when the component will render, that time it will uh, this use effect will be called, which is of empty array dependency. And if I refresh the page, it will first the value was 0, and after it runs only once, so it will update the time to 1. But if we have our state that is the count, and if we pass this variable on our application, so you will see our counter will be updated, and the use effect will be called here after the count state changes. Every time the count state will change, this use effect will be called, and it will be not affected by any other state. Because if we are not passing any if we are passing empty array, so it will be called only once. And if we do not give any dependency to the use effect, so it will call every times it will calls when the component re-render. It will calls every time when any other state or prop is updated. So this will not be the functionality of our counter. So for the counter should be perfect, we will give an count or any state state array dependency. So this was the use effect behaviors on a different situation, where first was the with no dependency, and second was the with empty array, and this third was the with the state array dependencies. So thank you for watching this video. If you